The lowest place where most listeners think, oh, that voice is unmistakably female. It's the A below middle C. Like, ha. That's where we're trying to get your baseline pitch, like a muscle memory, so that you just know where it is. No. Ha. Ha. Excellent. Breathe the words. Breathe the tone. You're adding a underneath. That breathiness is what's going to give you your speaking voice. Good. Keep the pitch the same through. You don't want it to slide up and down. You're going to feel more warm air on your hand when you get into the right area that we want. Try that. Good. Having our chest out, our chin up, and think about like a string on top of your head. And get a nice deep breath, and then we'll do this one again. I'll do it first. Nice. We hear ourselves in our heads differently than we actually sound to other people. So don't let that trick you. You have to learn by feel. Record your voice as you're practicing. Big deep breath. Good. Now let's just start with that ha from the end of that. Ha. Good. Ha, this is the voice. Ha, this is the voice. Good. That's the baseline pitch that we want. So she can physically make the sounds she needs to have a female voice. Ha, this is the voice I want to use. Ha, this is the voice I want to use. Good. To start speaking with someone else in monotone like that. Ha, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Ha, and to the republic for which it stands.
Ha, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Ha, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Ha, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Really breathe in every time there's a comma, every time there's a period, every time you're thinking about what you want to say. So, ha, what is your favorite food?
Ha, my favorite food is Thai food.
Ha, so what are your goals in transition?
Ha, my goals in transition are to pass 100% and feel more like myself.
There you go. Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. So let's try that. First chant it and then speak it.
Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth plank.
Great.
Ha, the birch canoe slid on a smooth plank. Ha, the birch canoe slid on a smooth plank.
Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. I'm going to say, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks, because I'm emphasizing with pitch. The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks.
Ha, the birch canoe slid on a smooth plank.
Mm-hmm.
Ha, the birch canoe slid on a smooth plank.
Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks.
Ha. The birch canoe slid on a smooth plank.
Great. Instead of ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks, I'm going to say the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks.
Ha. The birch canoe slid on a smooth plank. Ha. The birch canoe slid on a smooth plank. Ah, the birch canoe slid on a smooth plank.
Much better. Plank and plank. Plank, plank. Ha, the birch canoe slid. Ha, the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks.
Ah, the birch canoe slid on a smooth plank.
What was the most interesting place you've ever been to? Ha.
The most interesting place I've ever been to is Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Tell me why.
Santa Fe, New Mexico is really interesting because it's very artsy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also very small.
How old were you when you went to Santa Fe?
I was 18 years old.
And how long were you there?
I was there for 3 years.
Wow. Okay. So this wasn't just vacation. You were there for a while.
I was there attending school.
Good. So now tell me a little bit about what it was that was so interesting there. Try to be a little breathier.
It has a very eclectic group of people because it has a mixture of the local culture.
Because on culture, she went up into her falsetto. Really add another layer to your voice into notes where you just can't physically breathe in that same way. For me, my break comes if I go ha, 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 ha. Like, it's right about there. So anything above that, and I have to go into my falsetto. And your falsetto sounds like Mickey Mouse, it's sort of, oh, hi, how are you? It has this kind of sound. It sounds very fake, but it is very, very high. And when you're speaking, especially as women, we tend to go up into our falsetto, especially when we want to emphasize very strongly. Oh, hi, how are you? If I want to make it sound more excited, I raise my pitch a little bit and say, oh, hi, how are you? Up into my falsetto, like I just did on the word really. So I go, oh, hi, how are you? And that, oh, I'm going all the way up into my falsetto, and then I'm coming back to my baseline pitch. Santa Fe, what were some of the natural scenery things that you liked about Santa Fe? And we're a little quavery there, so it was like that, ha, and I'm exaggerating, but we want to dial that out and have it be nice and smooth.
The mountains of Santa Fe and in Albuquerque are some of the most beautiful mountains that I've ever seen.
Instead of saying or using a filler word, she decided that she was going to breathe in. And that's what you want to get in the habit of. Okay? Those kinds of words in order to fill up space while they're thinking about what they want to say. That's the worst thing you can do for your voice. You can take that time to breathe in. Your voice is going to sound much better. You're going to have less fatigue with the beautiful scenery.
And in Santa Fe, it's what they call high desert, which means it's very dry.
R's, L's, and W's, liquid consonants, can be very hard. People can kind of go, really? And they'll kind of growl up to our note instead of coming in at really dry. There was a little bit of dry, and we want to come in right at dry.
Dry.
Good.
Dry desert. Santa Fe, New Mexico has dry desert.
Great. She sounds unmistakably female to me. Lessons. And practice makes perfect, but only if practice is perfect. So you don't want to learn bad habits up front. You want to get in the habit of doing these breathing exercises, having great posture like she has, really practicing a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening at place. You're trying to build up a muscle memory so that you can always just, if the phone rings and wakes you up, you can go, this is the voice, and then pick it up and say, hello. Okay. So you can get to where you can control it, and you can start like this, and you can go down into your old voice. You know, my old voice is pretty low. Or you can just go right back. You know, you can get to where you can control it. It feels really weird now to go down into this kind of register. You know, it sounds really weird to me. But you can do that, and you can learn how to find a spot where your voice is right where you need it, and it's always there for you. And you won't go back to your old voice. It's there, but it's not something that I call up. So talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges you've had in using this new voice. I know there's situations where there are people in your life who are not quite sure of the new voice yet.
Right. My parents and some family members are not particularly happy about my transition.
Mm-hmm. Not uncommon.
Right. So they're also not okay with this new voice. This new voice.
Nice catch. And it's funny because sometimes they're more okay with the appearance stuff than they are with the voice. Like there's something about somebody's voice that's very familiar and specific to that person, and that when you change it, it can be very freaky to some people.
Right, and I even experienced that with my boyfriend, who knew me with the other voice, fell in love with me with the other voice, and is totally fine with my transition. But when I started doing the other voice, this voice, it kind of shook him a little bit.
Yeah, and that can make it hard to practice because you're around people who kind of don't want you to use it. And how does that make you feel in terms of like, well, I don't really need to use it? Is there any...
Right. That kind of makes me lazy about it. If I'm not being forced socially to use it, you know, I'm just going to get lazy like anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when I'm in a relationship, I don't work out as much because I kind of don't need to. And it's the same thing with your voice. If you don't feel a compelling urge, like if you don't think, oh, I've got to get a job, or oh, I've got to do this or that, it's not as top of mind and not as high a priority. But getting it figured out and settled can make a huge difference in your day-to-day life. So it's really important to figure that out and at least have it available consistently when you need to use it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has given me much more confidence when I go out in public, like if I'm at a restaurant ordering food, or even at the grocery store checking out, or a clothing store. When a sales associate comes up to me to help me, I just feel much more confident in myself that I can move around in this world more as myself.
Right.